What's up, Dub Nation? I am watching Shark Tank on CNBC right now, and it's kind of fun. I don't know how old the episode is, but I'm watching that, and then it'll roll right into the Steph Curry business special, which everyone should know about already. Let's take a look at, let's go to CNBC, see if they have it on there, on their website. Let's see. Yeah, maybe it's not there. Here, let me find a link for you, which is probably 30 Ink on Instagram. There it is. All right, let's see. Put the link here. And then after the 30-minute CNBC special, we're going to look at all the latest trade rumors that we've been seeing on Twitter, sadly. And I'll just try and go through some of them, repeat some of the stuff that I've done before, and go from there. Okay, here is the Steph promo on Instagram, and it's starting right now. So here.
And he's almost indisputably,
I can't show the whole thing, obviously.
both statistically and
it's showing right now. But anyways, you can go find the promo for this right now on CNBC right now. So we'll just do live chat for a little bit. We'll just do live chat for the duration, and I'll recap during commercials. The duration is till 6:30 p.m. So nothing major. It's only half an hour. And that's what we're doing right now. Kimbo and Amy. So I'm going to leave the volume where it is right now so I can hear it, but it wouldn't be fair of me to give you the audio of CNBC right now. This is their proprietary content. Are they still going through highlights, or did this start? Okay, still going through highlights. Yeah, they interviewed him during All-Star Weekend, and this is the result. Took a boat on the bay. He's wearing the same sweatshirt that he wore when he went to Oracle that day. So this is kind of an older interview. And they're just going through, showing little highlights. So I'll take some notes in the comments as we go, just because it helps me out as well. And yeah, so I kind of really tonight going live was truly half and half. I wanted to catch up on some of the trade rumors / clickbait out there, and just look through those with you guys. And
statistically, the greatest
yeah, we got to be careful with that one.
shooter of all time.
Okay, turn that off. Wait till it ends. And then go back to it. Oh, here it is. There. Let's do that. There's Steph. Global running day today. Let me go to the other browser and set up some of the proposed trades that I've seen out there. What browser did I use for that? Oh, I used Firefox. Let's see. Got to go to Discord on my phone to see. Here we go. We just started the episode.
His combination of skill, artistry, and personality on the court, and his humility and class off of it, have been evident since he joined the NBA in 2009. Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr joined the team as Curry's head coach in 2014. Basketball fans know what happened next.
I guess they're going to interview Steve first. Setting that up. Compares him to Michael Jordan. Looks like they interviewed him. I don't know where that is. Chase Center, maybe?
Such an incredible sense of awe when you see someone who is that confident, that skillful, and that willing to just kind of do the things he does. It's beautiful.
But Curry's superstar status isn't all about his play on the court. Like Jordan, it's also about the business of branding.
And this Steph Curry moves a galaxy away from me in terms of branding and his global.
Andre Iguodala.
In the summer of 2013, before the MVP awards were announced, Curry had made a decision. Nike had quickly swooped in to endorse Curry, which was no surprise, as the brand of Jordan and LeBron James. But an upstart apparel, Under Armour, wanted him to be the company's first big NBA star.
We're the underdog brand. We're the ones that were maybe born not big enough and tall enough.
Kevin Plank of Under Armour. They went through Kent Bazemore. I remember that, though. I still don't think Under Armour's done enough for Steph. I don't know. Is their target market kids? Because there's Steph.
Curry has made a dozen different signature shoes for Under Armour, which officially launched Curry brand in December of 2020, featuring not only his sneakers, but other apparel and accessories.
Talk about Curry brand.
His equity stake hasn't. Changes in corporate strategy and increased competition have led to a dramatic decline in Under Armour shares in recent years. Former Nike executive and current Dallas Mavericks general manager Nico Harrison has speculated Curry's brand would be even bigger had he stayed at Nike.
If he would have stayed.
Wow, they're doing Nico Harrison, former Nike. Wow, says that Steph would have been bigger if he stayed at Nike, and I actually agree. They didn't interview Nico. They just took a spot from him. Now there's a commercial. It was a clip of another interview. That's interesting. So we're at a commercial break. I wonder, do you guys have you bought anything from Curry brand? Have you bought shoes from Curry brand? Okay, let's see. Oh, I gotta check if Dean is coming. Oh, I guess he's gonna join us, even though the next live is tomorrow. Finals game 1, as well as Valkyries. And if the finals game sucks, then we'll switch to Valkyries, which is great. We have that option. So let me send the link to Dean. And feel free to comment on which trade rumors you've heard. Aside from Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, Sam Hauser, Porzingis, these are new ones. Giannis, obviously, and Coby White has been mentioned, although these are just ideas. These aren't sourced like, oh, I heard the Warriors are interested in XYZ. All right. So there's some info for you, Dean Chambers. Oh, I like it when YouTube has no commercial. It just shows me a pond with flowers on it or a fountain with flowers on it. Nice and peaceful. We're back. Talk about SC30 Inc., which is now evolved. 30 Inc. I want that bucket hat he has. Curry brand bucket hat. I need a bucket hat. And it needs to be. Oh, here we go. Needs to be dark colored. All right, Tiffany Williams stuff right now. She's the CEO, COO. Steph's company.
During the season, and especially in the offseason, Curry keeps abreast of everything going on at 38.
They use Asana. Okay. That's interesting.
For those that may at first be overlooked. But what makes the company unusual is the mix of mission and profitability, according to Suresh Singh, 30X chairman.
It's completely unique. And one of the big things I believe is
Suresh.
athletes, celebrity-driven partnerships and businesses that aren't necessarily focused on profit, aren't necessarily focused on mission. We do both. And I don't know of anyone that doesn't take that path. Yes, yes.
Last year, 38 brought in nearly
All of the businesses are profitable.
largely driven by revenue derived
Underrated Golf, unanimous.
that's unaffected by traditional.
Their agency, which I found out is called 7K. Oh no, they've got two of them.
Curry started unanimous media with Erick Peyton in 2018. The company is focused on producing scripts, digital
Curry brand.
documentaries,
All right, Siobhan, it's good to have you.
family, and faith.
Holy cow, man. What's going on, man?
In 2021, Unanimous struck a high 8-figure first look deal with Comcast NBC Universal, the parent company.
8-figure look first deal with
2 years to come.
NBC Universal, was it? From Mr. Throwback. Wow.
Unanimous media has pushed Curry in front of the cameras, including
8-figure deal. That's why you're profitable.
on Apple TV Plus. Curry and Peyton are also producing their first animated feature film, Goat. Set to come
Animated feature film Goat is coming. Holy moly's coming. Erick Peyton's done a lot. Now they're talking about Gentleman's Cut.
partnered with Boone County Distilling Company in Kentucky to make his celebratory drink of choice,
Kentucky bourbon.
sometimes shared with his dad, former NBA star Delta, and his brother Steph, currently plays for the Charlotte Hornets.
Anytime those moments of celebration and bonding, with Steph and Dell, they always do that over bourbon. So the opportunity.
All right, Siobhan.
Have a liquor branding, always.
Oh yeah, the real-time chat display. My fault. I completely forgot.
Traditionally a white sport. The tour culminates with 26 boys and girls playing for the Curry Cup each year.
There's resources and takeaways that the kids take, and even from a networking and potential mentorship opportunity for the kids as well. And we look forward to the industry development passion.
Then there's 7K, Curry's brand consulting agency, led by Ariel Johnson. That too pushes Curry's message of giving chances to the underrepresented.
His mission has always been, a lot of people are underestimated.
Ariel Johnson.
How do you really create your own story? And not letting yourself think that's
It's a particularly important message to Curry in
On helping the underserved. Okay. Brand management consultant.
Obviously, from a national perspective, like a lot of the narrative is trying to peel back and make programs and resources that are allowing people to have just a fair shot, a fair chance, and everything that we do, and what I can control, is about you equity.
Okay, so giving the underserved a fair chance.
Curry became attached to Oakland after leaving there when he first became a Warrior in 2009. For his
Oh, I'm probably somewhere in there in that clip. They showed Oracle pregame from eons ago. I should definitely look back on that. What time is it? 6:19 p.m. So they're just talking about his dedication to Oakland. Oakland is going through a lot, not just with sports, but with their neighborhoods. Oh, they went to Chris Helfrich to run Eat, Learn, Play. I have no idea what his background is, though. But they already knew him. It's cool to see all those playground like slides being connected together and constructed. We're at another commercial. Oh, Naz Reid, thank you. We're the favorites to land Naz Reid. Okay. It's hilarious. Okay, so let's add that to the list. We've already talked about a lot of these, but not Naz Reid yet. We're gonna get Naz Reid. Okay. Let me go look up his salary. Well, yeah. Ow. Hilarious. Yeah, where did that come from? Yeah, Trey Murphy, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for keeping up with the kids on Twitter. Trey Murphy, apparently. All right. Dubs is back. What does the BPJ stand for again? Dang. I'm afraid to ask. RJ Stott. Dang. You have injuries to your back and shoulder and ankle. Yikes. Well, I hope you get better. Let's take a look at some. I didn't see all your comments. My fault. So I hope you're better. Oh, they're going to show puppies on the YouTube insert, the non-commercial. Yeah, BPJ. Still celebrating your birthday. All right, good for you. How in the world would we get Trey Murphy? I don't know how we're getting any of these guys. Let me duplicate a tab so that I can check out the Warriors cap sheet and remind myself how close we are to the second apron.
But that's just the start of Coby's post-playing ambitions, which may include broadcasting.
So they're talking about, and this was aggregated, they're talking about what he wants to do after he's done, after he's retired. He might do some broadcasting. Oh yeah, pimp juice. Yeah, brunette pimp juice. My fault. Totally forgot. BPJ. Oh, right. Bovado. Thank you. Bovado. Send Jimmy to Minnesota. Whoa, you're going to be broadcasting? That's great. What can we watch? Ownership is another thing Steph looking into. He sleeps and play golf to relax. Power naps. And so that segues into his interest in golf.
Opportunities that are created around my there's times like I like to treat everybody the same, so make sure that that's a part of the consistent part of how I do life. So I appreciate the fact that people have good reports and like they have an interaction with me, how they feel after they talk to me or have a program with me. But outside of that, like, we all like to be better husband, better father, more present at times, just because I'm pulled in a lot of different areas, and balancing all that is a daily struggle. Challenge us to. I'm human like everybody. You got doubts about yourself. Have imposter syndrome at times. Like you have an idea of you still have where you're. At times I feel like it's an idea of are you doing everything you can to take care of people that are relying on you, or fulfilling your full potential in all different areas that I set out to do. Those are daily commitments and daily thoughts that you have to think through. There's a lot going on, and I'm blessed to do it all. What do you want your
so unique. I've never seen anybody like him. That good.
And then also, like, he represents the Bay, that it was good in basketball. And that for me is, when I was in high school, I do appreciate the I appreciate that feedback more than a great game. So that's important. Like, get everything I can out of basketball, but I couldn't drop this. All of these realities are wild to me.
All these realities are wild to me, says Steph. It's over now, and I must have missed the part where he said that he gets imposter syndrome every now and then. So it must have been during that part. All right, it's time to do some spreadsheet work. We'll just take them one by one. All right. Pell's making everyone available? That's not what I heard. Where did you hear that? All right. Has his documentary started? No, it just finished. I took notes in the description. And that will be in the comments after the live ends. Okay. Well, you're getting all the logic for Moody to Minnesota for Naz Reid from Dean. My problem is that I don't think you subtract talent when you have it. Maybe you do if you're the Celtics, where the situation is you're going to do a gap year anyways. I would be shocked, though. Well, you need to come onto the live, Dean. You're the one with this great idea for that. I don't like it, but I disagree. So Chambers. Jordan Clarkson, where? MPJ. I mean, I guess that's always been a logical one. Okay, MPJ. All right, Dean. You got to hop on now. Should Dean hop on to explain his Naz Reid for Moody trade that makes sense for Min and GSW? Wow, not a lot of people have bought Curry brand, although we only got 27 votes. Too bad we didn't get 3 more votes to hit 30. Something is playing on CNBC now that I'm not interested in. So are we going to get Dean on here soon or no? I guess I'll dance around the Naz Reid one. Okay, so Kevin O'Connor. Okay, let's look at that one. But the Trey Murphy contract is such a good deal. Why would you trade that one? You want to... I don't know. I just find it hard to trade really good contracts. So anyways, on Trey Murphy, apparently KOC said everyone on Pelicans is expendable. Let's look at Trey Murphy. Okay, let's just go ahead and dive into one of these. Pelicans. Actually, let's use capsheets.com. It's a little bit better for the immediate year. Capsheets.com. And we will go to New Orleans. Oh, I also want to go look at the long-term contract of Trey Murphy as well. Okay, 25 million. So the super awesome rookie deal is now over. Okay, 25 million. So then Trey Murphy would be, because the Warriors, we don't have many salaries to send out. That's close to that, unless it's Moody and Buddy Hield. And I just, why would you do that when you could trade? Why would New Orleans do that? Moody and Buddy Hield. It's not attractive at all, unless you're sending draft picks. So it's kind of like, actually, before we go into Trey Murphy, for all of these, I always start with the most ideal trade. And for me, it's still Markkanen. Naz Reid is up there, though, if you can convince me that Minnesota would actually part with him. So I think we'll push Trey Murphy down to a little bit later. So yeah, I always want to start at the top. So starting at the top, my ideal trade would be for Markkanen. That's the one that I would spend first round picks on, because every time you go online or to Twitter and people are showing you all these trade speculation, they always want to throw in a first round pick like Naz Reid. Why would they take Moody? Oh, throw a first round pick or 2 or 3 for that. Which again, I think he's pretty high on the list for the Warriors. That would make sense. I just I can't believe Minnesota would not have him high on the list, even if he doesn't start now. I don't know. I would retool. I would retool that roster by getting rid of Randle, and that's just, to me, that's really obvious. But I know, I mean, the moment you trade him, then you don't have to start him. It's kind of like they have to start him right now, just because of the dynamics of the pecking order. But anyways, let's start at the top. And he's the Markkanen's the guy that I would empty the cupboard for. Empty the cupboard for. And we talked about it already. It would cost a lot to get him. So it would gut the roster. So therefore, just keep JK and wait until February to see about getting Lowry. Okay, so that's my, what is the path to your most desirable guy? Is there anybody else out there? Giannis, I don't think is possible, because Giannis is the only one I have that's of that tier, and he's unattainable just because of all the other assets that other teams have. Example, Spurs. Spurs have way more assets. And if Jimmy is to be, if Jimmy's contract is to be the enabler of that, I don't see the Bucks wanting Jimmy Butler's contract. Okay, so again, let's keep the, you can't just walk into all of these rumors and tweets and sort out all the detail without knowing what you want. And I think what I want is to get Lauri Markkanen, first of all, to join Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy. Now, Naz Reid is a pretty close approximation. So to get Lowry right now, it would cost too much. We went through that exercise in the previous analysis. It had, a dramatic gut of the squad. Let's go to my drive here. Change it over to NBA up close. Lowry analysis. So on the previous live that we did about this, it was just way too much. You'd have to send out Mo and Buddy and probably Pods, because to sign JK at the required level of 32.6 million, you would go over the second apron. And I don't even know if it's possible. So you have to stay under the second apron, I think. And to do that, you have to throw in Pods or send them out somewhere. It's very, very complicated. So start at the top. What's your dream trade? For me, it's Lowry. Very difficult to have happen, especially with the 50% of the Kuminga salary in play. Base year compensation rule of the CBA. And so in this scenario, if you want to get Lauri Markkanen, then if he's still on the Jazz, and you never know, because if Giannis gets traded, if KD gets traded, all of these bigger dominoes start to fall, then there's ripple effects. So there's ripple effects starting with the biggest dominoes, such as Giannis, KD. You just never know the fallout, and it could get pretty wild. So you never know. So in that case, maybe Utah trades Lowry to some other team. Then you got to go down to your next guy on the list. And I would say Naz Reid is right up there. So it's good of Dean to are you gonna hop on? It's Dean, it's good for Dean to hop on and talk about that, but since it's right next. Is he saying that Naz would be a sign-in trade for 23 million? I don't know what he's saying. Where are you, Dean? You need to explain yourself. He's on. Yay, just in time. Dean!
How's it going?
Whoa! 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 Dean Chambers.
Been a while, huh?
Non-bearded Dean Chambers. I just, is that really you?
I think so. Are you?
Congratulations for graduating, Dean.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Congratulations to Dubs Johnson. Okay, Dean. Let's pull up the Minnesota cap sheet. And let's go ahead and walk us through this if you could.
So to me, a big part of this would be Reid opting in for this one.
Okay.
Right. In part because it would allow us to have his full bird rights, which I'm not sure are quite the same for a sign and trade. But with the opt-in and trade, we would have his full bird rights, and then we would have to sign him to a larger contract next year at the end of the offseason. And then I kind of connected it with, I guess I understand what you're saying about Randle, but
yeah.
I think.
Oh no, we lost him.
He played so well. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
To me, I was thinking Randle played so well that it would be more important for them to get another wing next to Ant than to keep a backup center for I don't know how much Naz would make, but it would be probably enough to put them over near or over the second. Actually, this is for 26 on the left. Okay. And what's their total right now?
196.
Yeah. So the second apron's 207, right?
Mm-hmm. First apron's 195.9.
So they're already over the the first apron for sure.
Okay.
And I think people were talking about Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Him getting a new contract. So the both of them together might be a little too rich for them to and I don't know about that. The other thing though for Reid on Reid's side is he would be playing starter minutes for sure. Like he would be the starting center on this team, right?
Yeah.
And then Kerr's system, having a stretch big, I see a little, other than just like the hairstyle, I see a little Looney style, handoff, pick and roll type stuff at the top of the key.
Totally.
So
wow.
I think.
Do you have an in with Bovado? Is that how they came up with this? That's amazing, Dean.
Yeah, I just speak it into existence, and the basketball world bows at my feet. That's why we got marketing last year.
Yeah.
What do you say? I'm kidding.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy, though. So it would be. Don't forget, Spyrit was asking the machinations of this trade. I think it's complicated because we don't know what Minnesota wants to do
This would be
with
Naz
Nikhil.
Reid opting in,
Yeah,
and
so
therefore it's not a sign and trade. It's just
okay.
trade.
There you go, right. Yeah, you
It's
just
just
said that.
immediately trading the contract he already has.
But then
And Moody's is already kicked in, so his would be the full amount as well.
But then you're saying we would tell him that, okay, we're going to give you an extension, and it's going to be fat.
Yeah, you get his bird rights. Yeah.
In that case, there's no way we keep JK, right? Because we need to pay Naz.
Well, I was thinking about that, and the Cam Johnson thing could work at about, you might have to include Buddy Hield because of his larger contract, might not, depending how far below the aprons the teams want to get.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Johnson would, for the Nets, who obviously have the cap space to be able to take on JK. First and foremost, I would give you a starting lineup of what? Steph, Jimmy, Cam, Dre, and Naz. I think that would fit well.
So you're saying do the sign and trade JK for Cam?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if it's all to get Naz Reid, I'm all for that. 21 million. Wow, 21 million. It's rather high. Boy, how would we fit all this? Okay, I'd have to do a separate live, I think, to just do all the spreadsheets necessary for this. But I did have a Cam exercise that we did last time.
Naz Reid, Spyrit said Naz Reid said publicly that this season will have money as the priority. I don't think he's opting in. Well, that's up to him. He has a player option.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not like if he got traded to the Warriors that we break that promise and not pay him later, obviously
there is that.
Injuries, but I think
do you have a link for that?
Spyrit, yeah.
Okay.
See, here's the thing, though. If he opts out, he either can be a free agent, right, for a bunch of teams that don't have cap space.
One team. Well, Detroit's got like 25. So
yeah, Detroit maybe, and that wouldn't be a bad fit necessarily. There are a lot of centers on that team, though. Or he could try and do a sign and trade, and that you basically are capped at the first apron if you take on a sign and trade. And a lot of teams aren't going to be able to do that, versus going to a place that fits where you'll be playing starters minutes, who will have your bird rights, who will sign you to a large contract next year. That's why I'm thinking, it makes sense that you would opt out, but you could also do the whole bet on yourself thing and final year of a contract and, go to a place where you won't be coming off the bench, So, but it's by no means a guaranteed thing. I wasn't trying to suggest that.
No, that's a good point. No, this is a good exercise. A lot of moving parts, crazy. But yeah, it's a good time for those interested in Naz Reid that there aren't many teams out there with the cap space to just sign him outright.
And the Timberwolves could sign him, obviously. But then again, we're getting into now you have to bench, I think, Randle, Naz, or Gobert. Maybe you could play all three. Maybe you could play all three together, but that's not how they were playing
So how about this? Thank you, Naz Reid, for having a bad playoffs. Did he have a bad not against us? I mean against OKC. It wasn't that great, as I recall. Because then maybe that makes Minnie think,
I'm saying re-signing Naz Reid this summer is a priority for the Timberwolves. Not that he said him getting money is a priority this summer, but maybe I'm not.
Where'd you find that?
Well, Spyrit said just Google Naz Reid this season money as priority.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll Google it then.
I'm keep seeing
Naz Reid this.
It's the Timberwolves saying it's a priority for them to re-sign him.
Well, this is the AI, so you never know. So he's saying people accept to opt out, probably opt out. Oh, Fisher. Jake Fisher, he's reliable to opt out. Okay, Jake Fisher, Mark Stein. Okay. So there's that. That's good enough. Mark Stein, Jake Fisher.
But again, free agency to go where?
Yeah, exactly. Well, gosh. I think it is hard for an NBA player to stomach a $15 million contract when you know that's a low number for what you're worth. Despite what I thought was a subpar OKC series for Naz Reid,
yeah,
he's definitely worth way more than 15 million. I'd put him around probably at least 25, maybe more. I'd probably throw him in the 30 range, considering just how he would fit with the Warriors. So
if we traded for him, could we start extension talks as soon as we got him?
Yeah, why not? Don't you think? Isn't that what we did with Jimmy? I'm not sure.
Yeah. That was during the season, but yeah, you're right. Jimmy. Yeah. Exactly.
Kimbo's asking about trade exceptions. I'm not too.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm not too. What's the word? Skilled with trade exceptions. I think there is one rule that's like you have to be under one of the probably the first apron to be able to use a trade exception. Yeah, that's a tough one, but it is really interesting how Bovado and you at the same time thought about it as a possibility. So I'm glad we talked about it. Boy, I'd love to do a spreadsheet here and, change Cam Johnson's name or any of these names to Naz Reid and fiddle around with it. But it's just so many moving parts. Number one, is he going to opt in? And number two, does Minnesota want to do a sign-in trade, which would then his salary going out would be 50% of whatever they signed him for.
For who?
Oh, Naz Reid, sign-in trade.
I don't
just keep them. It's so complicated that I don't even.
That's why I'm thinking Naz Reid doesn't opt out and it's a trade and extend rather than a sign-in trade.
Yes, I mean,
because it limits the number of teams you can go to, especially contenders, I would say.
The thing to look out for July 1st is if Naz Reid opts in or not. Because if he opts in, then he's probably getting traded. But even if he opts out, I don't know. It's fascinating. golly, it's complicated.
How you liking the second apron, Rich?
I like it now.
You do?
Because teams like OKC won't be a dynasty for 10 years.
Oh.
I'm greedy. I want the Warriors to be the last dynasty.
I want the Warriors to still be a dynasty, though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
To me, and I'm fine with it. I just wish they took into account, like, we shouldn't be penalized for re-signing JK because we drafted him, or Steph. Like, I wish they took into account the teams that, you know, are paying players a lot of money that they drafted. Isn't that the point? Like, what is OKC going to do? That's most of their guys are going to come from the draft, not Shea. They got that from the Clippers. They got him from the Clippers, but there's no the fact that there's no provision for that, I think, is really that's the biggest problem I have, you know.
Well, even with the second apron, OKC remains quite positioned well with all those draft picks, so they can kind of reload.
Yeah, but it sucks having to get rid of guys who you grew into potentially champions, you know, just for money. That's really too bad.
At some point, it'll be. At some point, we'll probably have to get rid of. You know, I'm just speculating ahead. I haven't actually looked at it, but like, you know, Lou Dort, you know, they just can't keep him anymore because he's proven what he's worth, you know, and he's making more and more. So, or basically, it'll just come down to your big three. You can handle 3 max contracts: Shea, Jalen, J-Dub, and Chet.
Yeah, but Shea's going to be making what the MVP is going to be making, like a quarter of the whole team's salary, right? It's going to be like $76 million a year.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And
we'll just
small market teams, they can't pay like that unless you give them help for guys that they didn't acquire via free agency or trades. Big market teams do that all the time. Small market teams and teams that want to keep their best players on the same team, which, you know, Duncan, Kobe, Dirk, you know, Steph, obviously. You think maybe not Giannis, maybe, but Jokic. That's the best part of basketball is when you have a great player staying with the team and when you help teams to build organically, like the Bulls, right? That's why people love the Bulls, even though they were kind of a super team. They mostly did it organically. Same with the Warriors, 2015, 16, 22, all that, you know. The whole KD thing, yeah, we should have been punished financially for having Kevin Durant on the team. I have no problem with that. You know, but the Celtics considering getting rid of Jaylen Brown because they drafted him and Tatum, and it's going to be super expensive. That's not how teams become beloved and great dynasties in NBA history. So I'm really upset with that side of it, and I hope they'll change it. But I've been saying that for years now. So.
Oh, and OKC being a small market, which will probably not want to do repeater tax.
The smallest market, I think, by the way. In the NBA.
Yeah, they probably don't want to do the repeater tax thing. So then they'd probably get off of one of the.
You'd have to get under the tax.
And then recycle all these other first-round draft picks. So Sam Presti's done the most masterful job that you can to set up a small market team in this environment.
Yeah.
Is just you stockpile those picks and make sure you got a 1A. And then
but will the 1A be willing to rebuild, waiting for these picks to, you know, guys don't have long windows unless they win a lot. So
it's you know, it's kind of new territory for them too going forward. But well, it's kind of like capitalism, you know. It's kind of like, actually it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, the union runs the NBA, and they limit how much the wealthiest can spend.
Yeah, but it's still like you still smell the stench of greed in there somehow. So it's like they didn't want. Yeah, basically it was just 30 governors. The mentality of 30 governors.
Well, the other thing is they are kind of playing into teams that don't spend money, right? Parity for the teams that don't spend money, so you might be able to compete while not paying the tax. Like, why help those owners? They get the revenue, and the teams that spend the tax don't get the revenue back, right? Revenue sharing. So you're helping teams be cheap and help them get better.
As long as there's more,
I would help the members that pay the most.
Yeah, the problem is that as long as there's like more owners that are not successful, which there will always be, because there'll be 16 unsuccessful owners, and 14 is absolutely the maximum number of owners that would ever think that they had a successful year. So I don't know, like,
why 14?
Oh, it's 30 minus.
Yeah, so 16 teams make the playoffs.
Just voting, 16 governors will vote over the other 14.
Oh,
so I don't ever see it really changing. Even the suggestion by Spyrit, 10% tax write-off for re-signing drafted players. How would you get enough votes for that out of the 30 governors? Wouldn't there always be 16 governors that say, nah?
Well, it would help you have better teams with draft picks while paying less money in the tax.
Yeah.
But they want the big markets to pay this huge amount of tax so they get our money. They don't want to spend their money. They want our money. Whatever,
yeah,
dude.
Exactly. And that's why Adam Silver is revered so much, because then he always brings in the tide that lifts all boats. His job is safe for a long, long time, with some Achilles heel
tsunami
stuff. Yeah. Well, Aim Assist wants us to move on here. So what's your next guy on the list after Naz? I'm like.
Well, it's Lowry number one for me too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a number 3 because I think coming up with 2 of them is pretty good.
Yeah, I like Lowry, and then the whole Naz Cam Johnson thing. I think that team does actually kind of work. It's size and shooting, and veteran know-how. Kerr would love him, Yeah. I love JK, but
yeah,
getting under the first apron with those 2 guys for Moody and JK, and probably Buddy Hield for finances. That would allow you to get. I want Seth and Melt. I love those 2 guys on the roster. But even if we sign those guys to vet mins, we'd still have a non-taxpayer mid-level about $5.5 million to be able to use. And I would be excited. I would be excited for that team. I think they would fit well together. Definitely have a lot more shooting too. So that's my 3: is Lowry or Naz and Cam, if we have to trade. But other than that, I don't think we should make a huge move. If we can't get something like Lowry or something like that other trade, I think you just bite the bullet, because getting value back in JK is so hard this year.
Yeah. Okay. That's why all the rest of the rumor / clickbait is just doesn't rock my boat.
The what?
All the other trade rumors, like Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, Porzingis. I don't even know how you get Porzingis. And
Yeah, the Celtics.
Trey Murphy, Coby White, Bruce Brown, MPJ. Like, it's tough for me to settle on those types of guys, even though
I don't
it's
want guys shorter.
fun to talk about. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to trade with anyone in the second apron because the Porzingis thing as a fit, yeah, but I looked at the finances and I have absolutely no idea how we could possibly do that.
Yeah. Plus he's coming off the books, right? So that kind of makes it tricky too.
Yeah. Brook Lopez as an idea is cool, but he's like 39.
Yeah, and isn't he
too old, man? Because on a young team, sure. Actually, he would be great on the Thunder. But for us, with 38 and 36 and 36, it's too old. Sorry.
And I suppose Vucevic is along those lines. But if we're talking Vucevic, wait a minute. But Brook Lopez is a free agent, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So how in the world would we get him? Yeah, he's not on there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or a taxpayer mid-level?
Oh, I see.
Maybe.
That's $6 million.
Something like that, yeah. $5.5 million. Mikal Bridges.
What?
Amy asked about that. So
Okay. She's always Mikal, but
huh?
I don't see New
She's
York.
always like Mikal.
Yeah. I don't see New York ever partying with him.
Well, they just fired Thibodeau in part. I think it's because they didn't run enough offense through him. So I would say I actually like the idea of that, but I don't think New York would do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Not the Knicks. The Nets did, but not the Knicks. You like Sabonis, but Draymond would have to be included. We're sending Draymond to the Kings? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't understand the Sabonis one. Where's that coming from, too? Where do you guys get these stuff? Did you hear that somewhere, or
Slim Don just said Sabonis. He didn't give any, or she didn't give any explanation.
This is an old QP. Lonzo Ball has an injury issue as well.
I don't want another thin guard. We've got guards, man. We've got some pretty good guards already on this team. We need size, I think. Positional size and shooting. Like Lowry or Naz Reid or Kent Johnson.
Yeah, so that's why it kind of, all those other names, Lonzo Ball, Sam Hauser, Coby White, Trey Murphy, Bruce Brown. Are there any ones that, MPJ, are there any ones that are sort of marginal, around the margins type guys?
Well, I thought Hauser was a good one for that marginal type thing, but I don't remember how much he makes.
Let's take a look. Actually, let's go to, oh, yeah, he might still be on this list. I think he's a free agent. Oh, no. Okay, he's $10 million. Hauser for Moody. I don't know.
Yeah. I think Moody has more value than that, especially if we attach maybe a pick or something. And
Boston.
No, you can't do that. Celtics, you'd have to wait for the Celtics to be under the second apron, otherwise they can't take more money back. And Moody makes more money than Hauser.
And they're the reason why Sam Hauser is his name is being thrown out there is because they're trying to reduce their salary. So it would be Moody wouldn't actually go to the Celtics. He'd go somewhere else. But That would be the either Moody or Buddy. But yeah, getting
Buddy,
Sandhouse.
I guess that would work for Buddy. Yeah.
It would be multiple team trades. I think we're going to see a lot of multiple team trades and very few straight up ones.
Oh, the Celtics will have to do that to get both Holiday and Porzingis off. They can't. You can do, as long as they're separate trades. You can, send Holiday here and then route Porzingis to that same team through a third team and blah 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 blah. As long as it's less money, even if you're in the second apron, you can't combine them together in one trade. It has to be separate transactions.
And bogus. I think that's all the best served signing. JK. Yeah, I think they'd have to. Anything can happen though. Like with the whole, Naz Reid thing, you never know. Then suddenly,
ducking the cat at all.
One domino falls, and then you go to a different timeline. Another universe is created. It's going to be crazy July 1st. You thought
I think so. There have been times when we've gotten a damp squib, but this one I think is going to go off. There'll be fireworks before the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
It'll be nuts. And I hope to do we're going to do something on draft day, and I don't know. The hard part with free agency is when do you go live? Because anything can drop at any moment in time. Like, wasn't there something that dropped like in the middle of the night? I forget.
KD to the Suns happened while we were winding up a live stream. You weren't there when it dropped, and I said, "Oh man, that sounds like someone got hacked." KD to the Suns, and no, it was true. Yeah, they reported it on here before I could find it on Google, and then obviously Luka. I was at work. We went out for a break, and you texted me like Luka's on the Lakers.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay, cool. That was absolutely insane. And they got Cooper flagged. My goodness. What a league, huh?
What a league.
Yeah.
And then Adam Silver today at NBA Finals practice, he's like, some along the lines of that's why you don't tank or something like that. I'm glad they didn't tank. I'm glad Dallas didn't tank or something like that. Something to that effect. Maybe not those exact words. And it's, to me, is like, I mean, you saying that isn't going to change teams from tanking. They're still going to tank. You just kind of have to. I don't know. Maybe they need 5 consecutive years of a total surprise number one.
Well, I'm just waiting for Cooper Flag to be great and cost them so much money that they'll have to get rid of him because of the second apron. Yeah.
Yeah, he totally left them to trip over that.
Would I trade Moses for Goga Batadze?
Oh yeah, I saw a Goga Batadze thing too as well. What the heck?
I wouldn't. I don't dislike Goga Batadze, but no.
Here's the thing.
You can find role-playing centers.
With all of those types of trade rumors, it's like I'm sitting here going, Goga Batadze. Like I would never tune into a Warriors game against the Magic to be like curious about Goga Batadze. Like, at least give me that before you make your trade rumor. Make it somebody exciting. And I just don't see that happening. So that makes no sense. And I don't know where that one came from either, because I did see
Here's
that.
another thing. He doesn't really shoot the three, man.
Yeah.
Well, he's been on Orlando. He shot 13% from three. I know. I mean, it's not like we need everybody to be a three-point shooter. Obviously, Looney doesn't really shoot threes. But trading a wing for a center who doesn't shoot, probably not Warriors style.
Also, I don't think Quentin Post is that bad. Like everybody talks about he's needing a center, and then it's kind of like, did you forget Quentin Post is on the team? Like
TJD.
What are we gonna do with him?
Yeah.
Just mothball him?
Play him behind Naz Reid. Have two shooting big men, and then a little stretch four with TJD out there or whatever from time to time.
Bloomer's in the house.
What, Bloomer?
Oh gosh. Okay.
And I graduated from college before I shaved.
Wait, is that a beer?
Yeah, I'm having a Blue Moon. It's hot.
Oh, we got Dean Clay Thompson Chambers here. And DeAnthony Melton, yeah, we've always said we'd love to have him.
No, obviously we can't offer him the kind of contract we paid this year.
Yeah.
But I think I can see like an OPJ, Otto Porter Jr. type thing where you take a 1 year bet something and get a big contract after that. You know, that's exactly what Porter Jr. did.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any other reclamation projects out there that we usually like to hunt for. Yeah, so I'm afraid to, I'll repeat what I said earlier, is like we've thought about marketing, we've thought about Naz Reid.
Yep.
I can't think of anybody else, and I'm sure Mike Dunleavy and Kirk Lacob and all the guys, Kent Lacob and everybody working over there at the Warriors have these massive spreadsheets of different possibilities, and probably, I wonder what software they use.
They probably developed their own AI,
Yeah,
honestly.
because
Their own program, I mean.
You have millions of dollars from the Golden Goose, aka Chase Center. Spend that money on some technology that helps you keep track of all this stuff. Because I'll tell you one thing, they're not doing it for the clicks like you see all the time on those apps. And like,
Well, some organizations do, but I don't think the Warriors operate that way.
Yeah, so I think you just got to take all these rumors with a grain of salt, and like just understand that it's more for entertainment right now than information. And really, there's not going to be more than a handful of people with information on July 1st, starting with Shams. Slater can confirm or deny other things, and probably other things he's not allowed to say. Monty Poole, and then there's like Jake Fisher, Mark Stein. Those guys will have inside info. But other than that, it's a lot of speculation and a lot of trade scenarios. Do they make sense or not? Lonzo Ball, this and that. It's like, it's hard for me to really dive into that just because there's so many other big fish that need to be fried first. Like the NBA is really a pecking order type league. Like people have to know whether Giannis is staying at Milwaukee, and then 29 other GMs have their own strategies based on that. If you're really in play for Giannis, like say the Spurs, or maybe today I saw Houston. Obviously, KD's been said to to make a good fit there, perhaps. And so all of those bigger dominoes in play, it's like, unfortunately, we have to let those dominoes fall first before we can really. And then at the end of the day, you're like, well, nobody can really predict it. So sit back in the most comfortable chair you can find and just let that timeline come through. And we will have our, I promise you, by then the Discord will be ready. That's like, it should be ready by the draft. So at least I'll have, even for people that want just like the free version, we'll have some availability for that by then. So that'll be a great way to keep track. Of course, you can always check your Twitter timeline. I'll bet it'll be a mess, and then it's hard to go back. And like Discord is like, it gets its feeds from the brightest minds on Twitter, so it's already filtered that way, and you can just scroll back up to see it. Whereas Twitter has evolved into an app that's very hard to track what you've already read. And so, yep, during the draft and right into July 1st, it's going to be fun to keep track of everything that's going on over there. Okay, so so we probably have people jumping on kind of late here, and why do you keep doing that? There's no need to keep typing in Coby White multiple times. So
You want another small guard?
I don't understand. First of all, I don't understand the need to just type it in a million times. But yeah, just like you were saying, Dean.
It's YouTube.
Smaller guard. I know Coby's talented.
Yeah.
And I like him. And when we played against him, he was great. But like, you know, what's your trade scenario? Can you provide a trade scenario instead of?
It's JK thing, Chicago.
Yeah, so we've already established that doing a sign-in trade with JK involved, unless it's part of a bigger equation, why not just keep JK and sign him to the higher salary and having more value to trade for later in February?
Well, we can't play Steph, BP, White, and Hield together.
If Coby White's coming here,
guard lineup is not going to work.
If Coby White is coming here, it doesn't make sense to keep pods. I love pods. So,
and pods is cheaper. I like White too. You know, if we were trading pods for Coby White, cool. But yeah. Okay, Damian Lillard, who tore his Achilles.
We're going to trade him for a guy who has a torn Achilles.
On this channel, we'd like to look at trade machines and different things to tell you whether that works financially, which I'm telling you, if it's Damian Lillard, that would not work financially. Also, we tend not to want to trade 22, 23-year-old talents for old small guards who are going to be out all year long with the torn Achilles when Steph is 38. So it's okay. There's a lot of stuff out there where it's like, who would be the coolest talent, without the financial stuff? I get that. It's fun to think about. It is. I'm fine with that. But if you want to come on here and suggest someone, you have to know whether, for instance, the Celtics are able to trade for JK for Derek White, which they're not. They'd have to be under the first apron. Maybe a 3-team trade, but again, that's another small guard. Guys like 6'4", 6'3", And
it's tough sometimes on the internet. It's like I don't know where to. There's different honestly, like different tiers of fans. And but you do have to kind of do what you can to educate the ones just coming in with kind of the entertainment side of things. Like, oh, I heard this name and that name, so now you're throwing out names and you're regurgitating the names that were thrown out to you. And it's tough. I get it. Like, I haven't figured out how to really, attract people that already can distinguish entertainment from information.
Well, we have a lot of regulars on here that it took, just takes a while to build those type of relationships. Yeah, the center from Chicago's name is Vucevic, and the center from Boston's name is Porzingis. Kimbo's asking about Coby White is 6'5". Yeah, he's a small guard, though. You know what I mean? Like, also, he's probably 6'7" with that hair, man. But but he's just a skinny point guard type dude, and that's fine. The thing though is Kimbo was asking about GP2 and Melton. The difference is if you're trading for one of these other small guards, they're going to want to start and play a lot of minutes. GP2 and Melton, GP2, he's a plug and play type guy, and Melt will be coming off the bench next to Pods or something. Pods is 6'5", and I still thought those lineups were too small. Personally, but not just in height, but just in terms of athletic, talent. And look, I do really like Coby White. I'm not going to say that I don't. I think he's also an excellent shooter. It would be great to have like a 6'8" wing who can shoot, maybe a stretch 5. That's really, I'm not looking to trade JK for someone smaller than him, and Moody's just more athletic than these guys, even if he is 6'5". I mean, as we've seen, throwing down dunks and 7'1" wingspan, and really, he could be better at point of attack, I think, but he plays really good team defense, I would say, or pretty good team defense. And I think these other guys are more one-way offensive type players at the moment. So that's why I'm kind of a little wary of trading someone more at the 3-4, kind of tweener 3-4 position for a combo guard. But that's just me. I mean, I'm fine if you guys disagree.
All right, let's not.
Like space the floor. Quentin Post is not it. Yeah, he has been. We saw it. And he's a rookie. Shoot. Come on. He'll get better.
Exactly what I just typed in. Yeah, Sabres a little late tonight, but I wouldn't want to do Kuminga, Moody, and picks to Nets. I wouldn't want to do picks at all because I want to keep my picks just in case. I don't know, just in case Markkanen's available in February. But that's a broad stroke, though. I wouldn't want to do Kuminga, Moody, and for Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton because, the Naz Reid idea that Dean brought up has a Cam Johnson JK component to it. And I don't think you'd be able to fit Nick Claxton. It's going to be like...
It's like $25 million.
That one. Yeah. So, again, Dean's idea was... you tell the idea as quickly as you can.
It was something along the lines of Moody to the Timberwolves plus something else, Buddy, maybe salary matching or maybe a little bit of draft compensation. and then for Naz Reid, and then JK, maybe pick, maybe Buddy, depending on how the Naz Reid thing goes, for Cam Johnson, which would put us at about 14 guys, plus about 185 mil. Actually, I have the roster that I was thinking about with the contracts. If you give me 1 second to find it. Yeah. So I was thinking Steph, Jimmy, Cam, Dre, and Reed. Seth, who I like, Pajemski, Melton, TPMLE, Post, then Spencer, Peyton, Santos, Looney, TJD. That would put us at about 191 million, just a little over 191 million.
Oh, can you type that in the comments real quick?
Yeah.
I'm writing down all the picks that we have. We have a ton of picks. Well, one of the things that it's hard for me to do is the comparisons, rankings, awards, and predictions. It's all entertainment. I don't know. I don't even know if we're going to keep Looney and Gary Payton. What if Looney gets offered, I don't know, $4 million from the Lakers or something? I don't know. Some other team. I don't know that we can afford him. We're going to need veteran minimums here on our cap sheet, which is shown right here. This is our cap sheet. Steph, Jimmy, Cam Johnson, Draymond, Naz. So you got rid of Moses, Buddy. Where's BP? BP still on the team?
Yeah, I'm writing in right now.
Oh, I thought you read it in already. Okay.
No, I'm writing all 15.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
We talked about Brook Lopez, Mike. Piff.
I actually don't mind it as a vet man.
Brook Lopez?
Yeah.
I'd be
Coming off the bench.
Starter.
Brook
Lopez is
trade.
a vet man. Really? Come on. You can find something better than vet men out there. Yeah,
yeah, I think so. But if he wanted to join us for a veteran minimum, I won't be against it. But anything more than that's too much.
Boy, this is out of hand, but luckily it's confined to just a handful of people. We need size and spacing. I mean, can I say the DUH word? Like, everybody knows that.
Like Homer? Don't. Oh, duh. Okay.
Back to Looney and Gary. Don't forget, guys, you only get one NBA career, right? So if you're offered, look, I don't know. You're forcing me to make shit up because, like, it's not always a rosy garden here at Golden State. I mean, we're restricted to filling these spots with one of these is going to be Jonathan Kuminga, probably. And then, we gave the Naz Reid scenario where we should actually do a separate live on that. At least we can save that for a later live, but it gets involved where I have to type in a lot of things on a spreadsheet so that you can see the numbers that Dean wrote down here. And Dean, the way that we've set up this live stream, he's unable to show his spreadsheet. That's okay. There's plenty to talk about in the future. We can do a Naz Reid scenario later, which would be cool to do because it gets in the nitty gritty. And then that'll give me a chance to also listen to the Minnesota Yossi Goslin analysis, see where they're at with Naz and make sure that their dynamic would allow that. Or, maybe he talks to a Minnesota beat writer and he just alludes to that maybe Naz is staying with the Timberwolves and no matter what. I don't know. But anyway, with these roster slots, like usually to fill out the roster, we can only do veterans minimums because our payroll from really like these three guys, Draymond, Steph, and Jimmy, and now JK is going to be a bigger salary that we'll have to, figure out what to do with. And so that leaves basically slots that need to be filled at veterans minimum. And that even takes us beyond either the luxury tax line or the first apron or even possibly the second apron. You never know. And that's why you can't just sign somebody over the veterans minimum. Like to fill out your squad, the rules say that you can fill out your squad as long as they're veterans minimums. So you can't just put any free agent above the veterans minimum here. Or even we have a second round draft pick at number 41. He will have to abide to these rules. So he will have to sign the veterans minimum, which he probably will if we don't trade him. Yeah, so back to these being veteran minimums. So again, with Looney and GP2, like you only get one NBA career. Like you only live once, so you get the one NBA career. If you're offered just a little bit more, then yeah, you got to weigh that. But that's your last chance to make that extra million or even 500,000 after taxes. Like I think that would come into consideration. I think you would really want to do that. Like Lou Williams just recently, I don't know if you saw the viral clip that he had on somebody's podcast where he said he gave the example of where like a $5 million contract whittles down quite quickly to like around $1 million or under $1 million. You're a thousandaire because first of all, take away half for taxes. And he goes, then you got your NBPA dues, you got your agent fee, you got your financial advisor fee, you got your this, that, and you got, your car, your, this and that. So you have to be very careful because suddenly what looks on paper to be 5 million becomes under $1 million. And then when you think of that, they have those debts and obligations for years afterwards. That's how they become broke, is because you're out of the league and then you're living, you still have all these bills as if you were in the NBA and it just gets a little it's like a boulder coming down at you. So
yeah,
that's just
the league's gotten a lot better at helping guys with that though, I would say.
Yeah. It was crazy. He said the NBPA, the dues for players, I think I'm echoing on you. Okay. The dues for players for each player in the NBPA, $20,000. Dang, that sucks if you're, if you're Braxton Key, you got to fork out 20 grand of your 200,000 or whatever salary.
You got to pay your dues, man.
Crazy for the protection.
Pay your dues in the NBA.
for your pension and healthcare. But yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, so GP2 and Looney, I really do think if they're offered more than veterans minimum, and then they would probably be offered something, enticing, like instead of like just $1 million over a veterans minimum, like something respectable.
Sorry, for who?
GP2 or Looney, I think it'd be hard for them to come back on a veterans minimum here when you're being offered more over there.
Yeah,
But,
I actually don't agree with that. I think those guys are really happy in Golden State and seem to not want to leave, because Loon could have gotten a lot bigger contract last time he signed one. I think coming up.
I don't know about that.
Well, either way, both of them stayed. Obviously, Gary famously wanted to be a video coordinator and stuff. So I think they might come back just to be. You can't put a price on happiness, So yeah.
Kevin Love, maybe at a veteran minimum. Yeah, veterans minimum.
Yeah, isn't he under contract though?
Oh, is he? I thought he was free. Okay. So here's what you do, Mike Piff. Welcome to Hoops Hype Warrior Salaries. Google it. You got to incorporate this. Now that you're here, if you really want to learn something that is going to dramatically increase your knowledge, just go to Hoops Hype. Go to the salaries part.
A little over 4.1 for K Love.
Go to Miami. Look at K Love. Scroll down, and you'll see he's under contract. So never mind. He can't be had at veterans minimum. He's under contract. So the answer is no. Nobody's going to want him. So Miami is stuck with him. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if GP2 or Looney, they get offered more than vet men. I'm really okay with them leaving if they're offered more than a veterans minimum.
Yeah, me too. That's not what I want, obviously, but if they want to make more money, I mean, I think they've been underpaid, honestly, especially that guy's got 3 rings, been to 5 finals. Do you think? Well, I want to be. If I were to pick a dark horse candidate getting their number retired that you wouldn't expect, it might be Looney. You never know.
Yeah. I'm just writing that in the notes. I like to take notes.
Oh, yeah. Well, for Lauri Markman, we would have to give up
nothing because
yeah, nothing.
Lauri. Oh, you mean to hire her for executive?
Yeah, she's great in the WNBA, man.
Or executive assistant.
Yeah.
Joe Lacob or
we're just messing with
vice
you,
president of human resources.
Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen on the Jazz. It'd be complex. You'd have to give up probably JK, Moody, probably Buddy, and basically all of your picks. So there's this thing called the Stepien, where you can't trade all of your picks in a row, but you trade a pick, swap, all that. Yeah,
I already did that. Here, my lives right here.
Yeah, put the link in the put the link in the chat.
Detailed analysis of Lowry to GSW. Very hard to do. The eternal struggle.
What do you mean he was originally 36? You saying he wore another?
He meaning Looney was number 36, right?
Oh yeah, for a little bit in 2016, but he barely played. So he played 5 games in 2016. Yeah,
Pretty sure he'd have, if his jersey was retired, there's very, very high likelihood it'd have number 5 on it.
yeah. It would be really weird actually if they put up number 36 and they were like, "What?" Yeah.
By the way, here's the Lowry Markkinen thing.
Oh, Laurie Markman.
It's very
Sorry,
tough.
Mike.
You have to send out JK, send out Mo, send out Buddy, and to make it all happen, send out BP so that we can stay under the second apron. Okay, so going back to Golden State.
We would be pretty close to being in the second apron anyway with Markkinen, plus unless we're getting the cheapest vet mins possible. Like we bought a lot of second round picks. We'd be close either way, I think. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a risk I'm willing to take, I would say, if I were asked to advise, because I think Markkinen's that good. But you are giving up a lot, man. And the Jazz have a new GM, you know. They have Austin Age, who's going to be the main decision maker, apparently.
Gosh. I don't even know the names of the players. I don't know what to do. We already talked about it. Scroll up. It's almost like, are you joking? You're just trolling, aren't you?
I don't think he's joking. You know, it's all right. Maybe he's new to the NBA, man. You know, but
at least go look
on
at
this channel. We're gonna ask you to justify.
Is it too much to ask? Look up the name first. So we're gonna guess.
Yeah, he wants Alex Len. No.
Yeah, is it Alex Len or
is Alex Len still on the Kings? Oh, shoot. I think he is.
Well, go to Hoops Hype, Sacramento. Look at the roster.
Oh, he's on the Lakers. Whoops. Yeah, he got
wow.
traded to the Lakers this year.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
Must have been at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Wow, they got.
Oh yeah, I think they got him because they didn't get.
He's a free agent.
They didn't get Mark Williams.
Oh, okay. Braxton Key. Well, Braxton Key, I think he is. Let's Hoops Hype. Golden State. What's a two-way contract? Does it expire? Oh, it expires. So he's a free agent. I don't know about Aaron. Two-way
Both
contract.
of them could be. I have to. There.
Well, I think Santa Cruz owns the rights to Terran, so we might be okay as far as G League. And maybe
both of them have little enough experience where they could be brought back on a two-way contract anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about
Braxton Key. This is probably the last year you can do that, I would say. But because you can't once a guy gets 4 years experience in the NBA, they can't be on a two-way contract. They have to be signed to a full. He can still play in the G League, but they can't be on two-way. But for this upcoming year, I think both of those guys would be strong candidates for another two-way. See what happens.
Jackson Rowe is signed through.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. What's purple mean?
Non-guaranteed? Oh, two-way.
Oh, two-way. Oh, it's a multiple. I didn't know you could do multiple year two-way. That's interesting.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Like I
Miles
wouldn't.
Turner's playing in the finals. They're probably not going to trade him. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be too hard because I think, we are setting the bar kind of high here. But it tends to be that
It's a
teams
high
are
bar
going to
community.
want to get rid of a center when they don't have another center on their team to replace what that guy does for a 22-year-old power forward, for instance. So, yeah, I think it's unlikely that the Pacers trade Miles Turner. Although
In the back.
he has been in conversations around the Warriors for a long time. So, I guess I understand where you're coming from on that one. Hey, Rick?
I don't see any difference between years of pining for Miles Turner versus years of pining for Giannis. What is the difference? You have to come up
Turner
with.
is a lot more available than Giannis. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he has been.
No, not now. He's in the finals.
Not now, not last year, not the year before that, not the year before that. So.
Oh well, maybe right.
Yeah. No, I'm just throwing my Miles Turner aficionados under the bus while I have the chance. No, really, it's just what's the difference between having this obsession for obtaining Miles Turner over the last 2 or 3 years than Giannis? Like Miles Turner hasn't been available. It's clear that Indiana wanted him and kept him. Good for them. But it's not like what I'm really saying is don't be mad at Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy that we didn't get Miles Turner for the same reason you shouldn't be mad at them for not getting Giannis, right? So it's like, and a lot of this is, even journalists do this. People want Coby White all of a sudden. Like they're just throwing it out there because they have the power as a journalist to throw that out there. But like, that's all it is. It's not actual information. It's just one human being's desire. Even our scenario of Naz Reid, although I would say going through all the steps that and making sense of why each side would do it, at least, Dean, you've taken the care to do that rather than kind of falling in love with a guy that you see that the Warriors play, and then you just kind of fall in love with it, which is the draw of the NBA. Like Adam Silver's done a good job of that. So I can't blame you, but I can't blame people who suddenly want out of the blue Coby White, which was like, I didn't even hear that after Coby White had a good game against us. Like suddenly.
I think it's because it's possible to put Kuminga's 50% of his contract in a certain area where we could get Coby White fairly easily, and he might be on the block. So I think the Coby White stuff came out of the financial math more so than people suddenly saying, I really want Coby White on the team.
So Mike, you can't just go, oh, we need this guy, we need that guy, and be like, Doug in the movie Up, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I'm asking you gotta rein in some of these. Like, do you want to just be entertained? Because we can throw out names for days here and it'd be fun. Don't get me wrong. But like,
Michael Jordan's still around. Let's get him. Why not?
I'm more into the information and learning part. Like, but you can't learn if you're at least you're not one of the Twitter dudes there's people that just throw out names on Twitter, and then there's people that throw out names and then get mad over this, that, and the other thing when the Warriors don't get those names. At least you haven't demonstrated that you're one of those. Those are the ones that really need help. But I lean on information here And it's hard to explain, but I lean on information because I always want to learn something, and I want to learn how Dunleavy went through all the processes that he did to get whatever player he's going to get in early July. So I don't have this need to throw out names and just name names and then once again go, oh, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. It's like, of course we need all that. Yeah, but the part, like it's the more human part. Like, why didn't Mike get this or that after we know who he got? Why didn't Steve Kerr, here's an example, why didn't Steve Kerr integrate JK? And what we learned and what nobody on the internet hardly ever talks about, any other Warriors channel, any other Warriors Twitter page, Instagram page, none of them ever talk about what I'm going to talk about, which is, have you considered that maybe it was difficult to integrate JK at that moment in time that he came back and Jimmy was here? Like, Steve has talked about that on multiple podcasts now. And even at the time when Kuminga got the DNP, I was not happy with it. Then he got another DNP against Clippers, and then he got another one against Memphis. The reason why I wasn't happy with it was because
And the Rockets.
now we are at a point where we're talking about trades, and Kuminga, his value doesn't seem as high as it would have been had he played against the Clippers and Memphis and then Houston. And so that bothered me.
I do think his value rebounded, though. I do think that.
Not fully,
Yeah,
but
maybe not fully.
who knows, right? We'll see. So that's why.
I have to go feed the cats real quick. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, I might end the live before then, but we'll see. So I'm just trying to teach you a different way, Mike. I hope some of it is seeping through to you because I want to learn all the time. I want to learn why. Like, I knew at the time when JK got the DNP against the Clippers, like, I know he got DNP'd against Houston. Honestly, I don't care about that. It's like the Clippers were the one. That was the one because we lost that game. And if you're not playing JK because he turns the ball over or he doesn't do this or that, well, I mean, GP2 turned the ball over. Steph turned the ball over. Draymond turned the ball over. Gary fouled Harden on a three-pointer. Like, those are mistakes that we allow Gary, Steph, and Draymond, and we didn't allow for JK. But I get that. And now we get the information from Steve that it was hard to integrate plays for JK. So while I was upset at the time, and that was maybe the most upset I've ever been with Steve because of the implications on the salary cap sheet right here, because of the value of Jonathan. Still, my goal was to learn. So I hope your goal is to learn, because if you're throwing out names just to be entertained, like Doug in the movie Up, I don't know that we can scratch your itch. So if you're going to throw out names and say, we need this, we need that, we need the other thing that everybody already knows, then I just don't know that I can give you what you're seeking. What you're seeking is to complain about the Warriors and throw out all these requirements to Dunleavy as if you had control, and I don't know, stroke your ego or something on that. I don't know what the motivation is on that. I mean, I do know, like, there's a lot of stressed out people out there, and they're stressed out about other things. It just so happens that the context of the Warriors comes across their path, and they start throwing Warrior people under the bus as a result. It's just collateral damage of the original issue, which is that you're probably stressed out about something else and not looking to learn or create, or, you know, learning and creating. Like Dean just came on here and created a plausible scenario for Naz Reid. So that's the entertainment that I can provide you. I can provide you the entertainment of having Markkanen number one on your list, which doesn't seem attainable right now. Therefore, maybe let's keep JK so that that can be attainable in February. And then because that's not attainable now, well, Dean creates a scenario where it's plausible maybe to get Naz Reid. Like I tried to create a scenario where it was to get Lauri Markkanen and send them send them 4 first-round draft picks along with JK, Mo, and Buddy. And like, even then it might be, you don't know if Utah, what they're thinking. So I actually said, this analysis of getting Lauri doesn't make sense. So I got to throw that in the trash. Oh, shucks. That sucks. You know, that I don't have anything else to do. So without Dean coming on board earlier tonight, then thank you, Dean, for providing that, because I was going to go look at all these other ones that people have been throwing out names for under various circumstances on Twitter, all these names. So, but I don't want to really do that anymore, because now we have our thing to look forward to. And if that could become trending on Twitter, that would be nice. But then again, that destroys the goal of clickbait. That destroys the goal of engagement. If we gave you a plausible scenario to obtain Naz Reid, then there's nothing else to wish for. So we've cannibalized ourselves, which makes Let's Go Warriors so different than anywhere else, and that's fine. And pretty soon, hopefully pretty soon, we will revolutionize the NBA media landscape and just look at things a little bit differently. And more people will rise up from the cacophony of social media and want to hop on board and be part of our tribe, because we're lucky to have guys like Dean. So, man, that's great. I don't know that anybody else out there has thought of that. Maybe somebody who works at Bovado, which, again, I said this like 3 times already tonight. Interestingly, they have Naz Reid ranked up there pretty high as landing with the Warriors. And did they go through this process? They must have. Crazy. Maybe it's just coincidence. Anyways, that part was going back to entertainment part. All right. So, yeah, I wanted to write that note at the end on Let's Go Warriors trying to be a place where we can create a plausible trade scenario and also sit back and enjoy the draft and free agency and trades coming up, and be open to learning how Dunleavy and Lacob, Kirk and Joe and Kent operate, how they operate. Because I don't care how many years we're at this. Every year we're at this. We will never come close to the knowledge that they have. All we can do is look at the empirical evidence that they leave behind and maybe a few journalists that have sources. It's like a perpetual cycle of trying to predict what our management is going to do, and it being damn near impossible because we'll never have the level of insight and contacts that a Mike Dunleavy would have. But it's still fun. I that's the part I find fun. The guessing and the throwing out, guys in different jerseys and, playing that internet clickbait game. I'm actually so tired of it. Like, I started that way. Again, I started with Golden State of Mind 2009, was credentialed with them, and then started Let's Go Warriors in 2013 because I was going full bore all in every day, early adopter on Twitter, and coming up with like engaging things, but it's evolved past the point, like how newspapers first started out. I'm sure the term yellow journalism didn't exist when newspapers first came out. There was that honeymoon period. And so we're so far past the honeymoon period, sadly, that social media and Twitter and apps like that, where you can just type away, it's just lacking a lot of context and makes it difficult to swim around and really find things to root for. And so that's what Let's Go Warriors. I'm still trying to find out what is really our definition. I'm trying to figure out what our framework is. And I think our framework has something to do with understanding the landscape of NBA media. It starts with understanding what the difference is between information and education, leaning heavily towards information and learning, and creating things to root for, things that are plausible to root for, so that the zombies on Twitter and, in the depths of the cacophony of, I don't know, that those types of people don't tag you with, oh, you're just kumbaya, you're just forcefully trying to stay positive. No, it's more trying to really embody what it's like to be within the walls of Chase Center, what it's like to think as Dunleavy thinks, think as Steve Kerr thinks. You don't necessarily have to agree with it, but think how he thinks and understand the context and respect their point of view. So I think that's lacking in this day and age with the quick fix type mentality, because people are stressed out. Again, people are stressed out and they need quick fix solutions. So they make that bleed into Warriors content consumption. And I think it becomes more of like an addiction to it, where we can exude what it's like to be Steph. Like, again, the guy treats every day with joy, right? And yet so many of the people that adore Steph, they actually do not act like Steph. Is it because it's too hard for them? And granted, the good amount of people that actually do act like Steph, they don't do it like on a platform like I try to do it, or they don't have the platform, or they just keep to themselves. Like Dean's not even on social media. So anyways, just some deep thoughts as to not being too addicted to just throwing out trade scenario names and saying we need this, we need that. Everybody knows we need more height, we need more length, we need more offensive rebounding, and we need more shooting. We all know that. We need more Larry Bird, according to Bogus. All right, so Braxton Key and Taron Armstrong, I just wouldn't worry about it. I think they're part of the Santa Cruz and Golden State family. I almost said Santa Clara. I don't know why. I live in Santa Clara County. Maybe that's why. But yeah, Braxton Key and Taron Armstrong are part of the Santa Cruz family right now, and I wouldn't worry about it. And every year we're going to fall in love with one of these end of the roster guys, right? So it's okay. Just know that those guys tend to have a lot of turnover every year, whether it's Juan Toscano-Anderson, whether it's, 1 year it was Quindary Weatherspoon, right? So you gotta keep your arm's length sometimes on some of these guys. You can't fall in love with too many of them if you have that despair of loss. So I would say don't have that despair of loss in the first place. It's okay to, open your heart for a guy like Taron Armstrong without feeling any, depression for losing him when the time comes. Maybe he'll just keep blossoming and become a key, second or third unit guy coming up. I think he's got a lot of hope because if you watched him play, he's got a lot of pizzazz. How's Kevin Knox? Okay. Yeah, good question. Let's look at his contract, right? So yeah, what we always do. We go take a look. We wanted this Firefox right here. Hoops Hype. Kevin Knox is a free agent. So just like Dante DiVincenzo, same Dante DiVincenzo love. He's a free agent. So good luck, Kevin Knox. Go get that contract. And if not, we'd love to have you as a vet minimum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have the rights, the G League rights to Braxton Key and Taron Armstrong. And I would really be shocked if another team comes along and goes, oh yeah, Taron Armstrong, we'll give you a regular NBA contract. Whoa, that's risky for them. Of course, at that point, we could always they're not going to give him more than a veteran's minimum, right? A minimum contract. So don't overthink it. We'll be fine. I think we should expect to have those guys back. Okay. Well, that's all I got for you. Good to have you, Bruce. Oh yeah, Bruce. Did you get NBA 2K yet? Before we leave. And I guess if I had time to do the poll, do you like the Naz Reid idea? I like it. We got to do a separate live stream. But anyway, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow because we got NBA Finals. Tomorrow's June 5th. Valkyries go on air, I think, later than NBA Finals. But hey, it was cool to hang out with you guys. 5:30 for finals. Dean Chambers.
What's up, Rich?
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. 5:30 Pacific.
Absolutely.
You gonna be around tomorrow? NBA Finals Game 1.
Yes, sir.
Then Valkyries. Valkyries. I don't know if we'll. There's only about an hour overlap, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, you need to buy a PS5. Wow. Well, if we can get Bruce to, maybe I'll just buy you NBA 2K, right? It's not that expensive, right? How much?
Yeah, you can stream these trade ideas on 2K.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's reasonable, I can just buy it. If you're streaming with Naz Reid on the team, etc.
2K26 this September. Sounds like maybe.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'd want to start before then. So
Yeah.
I imagine 2K25's cheaper right now, right?
Well, I don't know. I imagine they maximize the sales until the new one comes out. Actually, yeah.
Oh, I would have no idea. I
That's just
decided,
Well, do you have any feeling on the finals, Rich?
oh yeah, we already did the poll. We'll do another one tomorrow. I think OKC just doesn't really have enough weaknesses. Indy is
They're lacking weaknesses. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm rooting for Indy as the underdog.
Yeah.
I think OKC's going to be fine the next few years. So they don't really have too much to worry about. And yeah, I kind of have a bias against OKC because of the whole steal a franchise from Seattle.
KD.
Yeah, well, you could talk about your thing with KD, but yeah, I'm rooting for the Pacers. But if you put a gun to my head and said make a bet with hard-earned money, I'd have to bet OKC to win the finals. What about you, D?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Although I do like the Thunder crowd, and I like the team and everything. I don't have a problem with them at all. But
oh, I got a problem with the Thunder crowd.
You do?
You know what it is? It's just the fact that they have those little cardboard things that you fold up and they make a lot of noise. Like, can we get some organic noise from you guys? Like, show me without the use of those clapper things where you fold up the cardboard and it makes a strong noise when you flick it like this. That's not fair. That's like cowbells. So that's my thing.
I get that. Although I think they would be super loud either way.
You don't have a disdain of OKC for Clay Bennett moving them from Seattle?
Oh, I do.
Oh,
do
okay.
For that, yeah. And I love that the real Clay knocked him out last time they were in the conference finals.
Real.
Yeah. But who's from Washington, Oregon? I'm sure he felt that a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not an anti-Shea guy. I'm not an anti-C guy in terms of the roster and stuff.
I'm kind of anti-Shea. I don't
like the free throw stuff, but I like the defense. I like his passing. I like his leadership. I like his calm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Pacers in 7.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I've gotten the finals right since 22 on here. I picked the Warriors over Celtics.
Oh, whoa! I got to write that down.
The Nuggets over the Heat. I picked the Celtics over the Mavericks. So It would be easier to pick the favorites and try and keep that going. But I'm just feeling that great as OKC is, the Pacers have something going on there, and I don't know what it is, man. It feels like the year of Indiana.
Okay.
Caitlin Clark went to Iowa. She's on the Fever.
Okay.
Tyrese Halliburton went to Iowa State. He's on the Pacers.
Yeah. So did Brock Purdy. Yay!
Okay. Yeah.
Congrats,
There you go.
No, I am rooting for the Pacers, but I don't like to make predictions because I'm always wrong. So
no, and it's not. I wouldn't do that stuff with the Warriors because we're much more invested with that team and just gotta wait. But without a dog in the fight, or without a horse in the race, I'm fine with making a prediction personally. And here's one more thing too.
okay.
What living in LA, the 2020 chip, I know people make fun of it, but that's also the chip, the year Kobe died and everything. And Caruso was a really important part of that. He's a great champion. But Pascal Siakam is the best champion over the Final Four in the conference finals. And
I'm very impressed. Yeah.
And he's already a champion.
Yeah.
They have the better champion.
Oh, I got you.
Really like the way they play, Indiana, Pacers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I really do think. Yeah, I'm glad Indiana beat New York just in terms of. I don't think New York would have had as much hope against the OKC. Just their style of play and size or lack thereof. So, yeah.
And Indiana plays like a Western team too.
Yeah, I love it actually.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they can full court press every now and then. Like, how did Carlisle know, man? I got to tip my hat to Carlisle. How did he know that this squad could do a pace like that? That's pretty cool.
They did it better than the Celtics even when Tatum was healthy, which is pretty surprising, Yeah. And the clutch aspect obviously is really cool.
And Pascal fit right in, man. What a great signing.
Mm-hmm.
But I
love their depth. They got a little bit of strength in numbers type deal going on. Bring guys off the bench.
You had to know that obviously Tyrese coming to the squad, you could do that. But then everybody else had to fit in place and buy into that too. And they went young. And the other thing I love is that they have freaking Aaron Nesmith, who's a great pick and roll defender. Like, hey, all you young Warriors, can you just watch him, how he defends the pick and roll? Not that you're as strong as him. You kind of have to be as strong and agile and athletic. But then behind him is Benedict Mathurin, and behind him is Jarris Walker. Like, where do they get these guys? That's amazing.
Like Toppin?
No, but I mean the same type of player. Like,
right.
That's the depth chart on Aaron Nesmith at the 3. Nesmith, Mathurin, Jarris, they're all the same. Like strong, stocky, 6'6", 6'7". Wow. How do they do that? That's great. And then Obi Toppin, like, man, that's great roster building, and then great choice of Carlisle.
Yeah, Nembhard, McConnell.
For him to just to make it all work and full court press as much as they do. Wow, it's really impressive. Yeah, so I do think there's a chance. Yeah.
We're in the vast minority, though. All the national people that I've listened to. And I don't listen to national people just because they're big. I listen to them because I really respect them. They're all saying Thunder in 5 or 6, I think.
5? Come on.
Yes. No, statistically, they do have a point in that the Thunder have been dominating teams. Like few teams before them. Okay. And I'm rooting for the Pacers. I don't think saying Thunder in 5 is disrespectful because they really are that good of a team.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think there's something weird going on in Indy. I think there's something.
Well, I hope you're right.
With that team.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but
It would be better for the Warriors actually if the Thunder won. If you think about it.
Oh, really?
It's a lot harder to defend a championship than to win one these days.
True. True.
You know what I mean? It's hard to win, but it's even harder to defend it.
Yeah.
But if they lost, I'd worry that,
Yeah.
they'd be
Hungry again.
yeah, be really good, probably even better. I'm so hungry, but I have to pick what I think, you know. I think it's Pacers in 7.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to predict, so I'm going to stay out of that, but
I'll have a good time no matter what, I think.
I'll be rooting
Although
for
I
you.
would not like a sweep either way.
Yeah, true. Cool, man. Well, then we'll see you tomorrow.
Cool, sounds good.
If you're willing.
Thank you
And
for having me on, Rich. And I got one more thing for you, man.
yeah.
Check it out, dude. Uh-oh.
Your diploma? Oh,
Oh, it's not showing up.
well, I've already shown your picture.
Yeah, I know.
What made you decide to shave the beard?
Oh, well. It's a new time, man. New time, new look. You know? Turn the tassel from right to left, and you got your whole life ahead of you, man.
Yeah.
And it's hot, dude. Having a beard in the winter is great. In the summer, it's a little.
Well, you should have just said that.
Huh?
You could have just said that. James Dean.
No, it's a new look, new life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. I'll be careful on the roads, though. Okay.
All right, so let's pull up the Cholo file. If hopefully people are still here, that the new people, you got to know what the Cholo file is, and it's right here.
That's from our regular guy, Cholo, Mr. Cholo event.
Yeah, where's Cholo? Get him on, everybody.
You call him Val's
Today
or
he
Val's?
came back. He came here today talking about how he got a new blicky.
For the uninformed, what's a blicky?
How you don't know about no blicky, man? You had a blicky?
He said,
You
come
told
on.
me you had a blicky growing up. Yeah. You was a shooter.
A strap.
Yeah, that's a blicky.
All right. See you tomorrow, Dean. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Rick.